I thought I would just show you guys how I prune the tomatoes. They're not quite to the point right now where I want them to have blooms. So I'm coming in and I'm taking these out. The other thing I'm doing is I'm removing any lower branches like these that might possibly come in contact with the ground. We don't want any of that. What happens when they touch the ground is we can get powdery mildew, we can get more bugs, things like that. So we don't need that. The last thing is we're gonna remove all the suckers. Let me show you. This is the sucker right there. Kind of comes up in the armpit of the tomato, and we just want to pinch that out. We don't want those. What they do is that will cause a whole nother branch of this plant, and that's not what we're going for right now. But I got some new things from Amazon. This guy, kept seeing it on Facebook. You can see it. It's a blade. And you put it on your thumb, and then it has this thing that you put on your other finger to keep you from cutting yourself. So, I thought, see how it works. So, got it on. Little knife. This is to keep you from getting cut from it. Let's see how it works. Where I can show you. Works great. This is supposed to help you with picking fruit, trimming things, where normally you would kind of use your fingernail. I think I like it. Took a little bit of getting used to. We're just gonna take off. Don't need to be there. All of that. And these are touching the top. And we're gonna tie up a few of these tomatoes because we're supposed to have some wind and rain tomorrow. So I want to get them all tied up before tomorrow afternoon. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, will work a lot better when I'm not trying to hold the camera. Okay, so yesterday I showed you my new thumb knife, and as I was fighting with it, James was like, did you try the other kind? And I was like, there's another kind. So there is another kind. This one is more like a really sharp thumbnail. And as you can see, my fingers have been pinching off lots of suckers. They're black and gross. But, so we're gonna try this one real quick. So it does come with this finger guard. All right. So I'm gonna come in. You just grab it. Still not quite as clean. Maybe the quality of these isn't as great. I don't know. They were $9 for 3. And we don't want any of this crumbing up here. That's no good. Don't want any leaves touching the ground. But, I mean, it works pretty good. The sucker and that one. Definitely works better than that 90°. I'm sure the other one like came up and then went that way. So I'm sure that there's a purpose in that, but this is a lot easier to use. So I'm gonna pull the rest of these little suckers out and give this a little secure to here. When we get rid of these suckers that grow up in here, they actually will produce fruit. This sucker, actually, you can root it. You can stick it in the ground, you can stick it in water, it'll grow roots, it'll grow a whole nother plant. Essentially, it is another plant. It's stealing nutrients from the main plant. If you just let it go, it will just keep branching out and branching out and bearing fruit. That doesn't mean that's what's best for the plant. And even though it could bear some fruit, it's better to remove it so that this plant can be strong, and this plant can have a really strong root system, and it can grow tall, and it can bear lots of fruit. And while it may seem counterintuitive to pull things off that could possibly bear fruit, it still the most effective way to grow tomatoes. We don't understand when things get pruned from our lives, because we're like, oh, that was a good thing, like that could be really good. And God's like, but I have something better. I need your roots to grow deep. I need you to be strong. I need these things to happen in your life. And I think just trusting that our Father has what's best for us, and allowing the pruning to happen in our lives, and not to fight with the pruning shears, but to let Him decide what's good for us. Did that with. And a few more leaves will come off as we go up, but they've reached the trellis here. These are my big tomatoes. We've got Paul Roberson, we've got an Amish paste, Cherokee purple, climbing triple crop, and I think those are early Cascade. Don't quote me. Nope, Dr. Witchies, if that's how you say it. I'm not sure. Jess from Roots and Refuse says Dr. Witchies. That's what I say, but I'm not really positive. They are yellow tomatoes. They should have yellow, purple, red. These semi-tied up. These are some of my Bride's Atomic Grape, a Cherokee purple, and I saw a Brandywine, another Brandywine baby. Where'd it go? There it is. And here's the one from the other day. It's getting bigger. And this is Barry's Crazy Cherry, and they are crazy producers. If you look at this is its first bloom cluster. Every one of those is going to be a little yellow, amazing, delicious bite of sunshine. It's exciting. There's another one of those. My sunflower has now also reached the trellis. That tomato over there is my experiment. I'm not going to put it up. So this is what happens when you don't tie up a tomato. And my plan for this one is just to let it go. I learned that a tomato is a vine, obviously. And so along the tomato vine, you can see all of those little bumps. All of those little bumps are potential roots. So this vine is actually designed by God to just run along the ground, produce fruit, which is great for the tomato, not so great for us, because one, it takes up a lot of space. Two, it can have lots of diseases, because the ground is where all of those things lie. So if we can trellis it up, we're less likely to get fungal things, bugs, things like that. So typically we'll trellis it up, you'll get more fruit. But this is my test. I'm just gonna let him go on the hugelkultur mound and see what happens. Forget which variety it is. I think, yeah, maybe I put a tag. I wrote it all down somewhere. This is the early Cascade. I also have early Cascades in a couple other places, so we'll kind of see how they go. Thanks for hanging out with me as we prune tomatoes over the course of a couple of days. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Faux Farm.